I make money so I can buy your cookies. Good morning, YouTube. I have to whisper because it's very early in the morning. It's just so cool to watch people eat oranges. Okay, so I hope this isn't a letdown. This is not an announcement of when the jackets will drop, just because I want to do a full behind the scenes of how the jackets are made and all that, but I did find a manufacturer. Also, I never thought I'd buy a Levi's washed jacket, but this is actually a really cool collaboration with Target. So I did. Not this video, this jacket. Target has never talked to me in my life, but it's lined and everything, so I'll make a video about it probably soon. Recently, I've locked myself out of my building twice. As I was talking about forgetting my keys, I actually seem to have misplaced my wallet. As a last resort. Does anyone happen to know where Wise... I've had a plan this entire time to create a clothing line. The reason I announced that I was starting a clothing line way before I had any resources was because I learned from Christian, from Theo and Harris, which is where I work, that sometimes it is beneficial to say what you're going to do before you do it, because the people in your space hear you and help you out. Okay, now it's time to work for a little bit.
There he is.
You. You ever thought about subscribing and liking this video and commenting on it? I've never been a businessman at all. And now I feel like I'm getting more into it, learning a lot from Christian, who is a businessman on steroids. I've been trying to leverage LSG Denim. They reached out to me and basically said, hey, can we send you a pair and can you review them? And I said, sure. And in lieu of payment or anything, can I get some advice or tips on how to start a company? And they said, of course, Papo specifically. He basically said, be very careful that you don't spend too much money. And I said, easier to do for me than you, Papo. I don't have too much money to spend. It will hit zero before it hits too much. Papo said everything starts with a pattern maker. You need a pattern for the jacket, which is basically like the net cutout of the jacket. What the jacket's gonna look like, it's how it fits, it's how the pockets look, it's everything. And then from there, worry about a manufacturer, finding someone to sew and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Also quick Chobani Greek yogurt pina colada test. So the first thing I did, as I was saying, is I tried to find the manufacturer of basically all my favorite companies, and it seems like the best of the best, or my favorites, or just a lot of companies in general that make raw denim or heavier denim in the space use. So you can find the manufacturer if you Google for a while, but it also seems like they're trying to be secretive, so I'm going to just babble the name out so you can't understand it. You'll never be able to decipher my words. And there's an article about it that you can read. Just search nothing. From what I can tell, I'm not positive. I think it's like the most esteemed, the best of the best US manufacturing denim place you can get. And in this interview, basically the guy that runs that company says it's not necessarily about size or the size of your company or this or that. You have to have all your ducks in a row though. And I read that and I was like, I have one duck currently and I'm doing this kind of thing. You know, when you're trying to chase after a duck. Come here, duck. I didn't even want to reach out to just in case I ever get to a size where I can reach out to I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, you're the duck guy. No way. One time when my sister was a baby, or not a baby, but she was pretty young, she was feeding geese with my dad, and she had cookies, much like this one, except not. The one with the elf, and there's 3 M&Ms like that, you know those ones? And she was giving the cookies to the geese, and the geese were eating the cookies, and my dad said, Sarah, you need to be careful, because you keep feeding the geese like this, and they're gonna bite your finger. And she was like, I don't know, she was a baby. Nothing was going on. And she gave a cookie to a goose and the goose went honk. So I found a website called Maker's Row, which is like amalgamation of manufacturers in the United States. And I was looking for ones that did denim, but that website kind of, I don't want to say anything bad about the website, but it kind of sucked. It didn't work out, and that was a bit frustrating because I had to pay money for it. And then I was starting to panic just slightly because I had absolutely no idea where to look. That was me basically going big, and then I thought, okay, why was I doing that? I need to go small. So I went on to Upwork and I was looking for a pattern maker, and I found someone named Whitney, and she specialized in heavy men's outerwear garments. And I was like, wow, you would love me and my duck. I messaged Whitney, I basically laid out everything, and she didn't respond. One more time for a bedtime set. So then a miracle happened because I did a video about Free Note Cloth's RJ2, and during that time, I got connected with the owner of Free Note Cloth, Andrew, who's amazing. So I texted him and said, Andrew, listen, I'm trying to start a company. And he said, call me when you get a chance to rap, which threw me off for a second because in my off time, I enjoy rapping and freestyling. And I was like, are you sure? Long story short though, I called him, I texted him, I called him again, he didn't answer. It's one of those things where I didn't know where to look to find where to look, and it was stressing me out so bad. I went over to our couple friend's house. Taylor and I went to Amelia and Ronnie's, and I couldn't even really hold the conversation. I just kept saying, yeah, I can't stop, sorry, I just can't stop thinking I can't find a manufacturer. The one piece of information that I could get from everybody was, it's very expensive. And I was like, that's not good. Oh, okay, I didn't know it was very expensive. I don't even actually like eggs.
It seems to be a beautiful day in Hoboken. Thank you for asking me.
The reason I was panicking wasn't because I wouldn't be able to get the jackets made. Well, that was actually the main reason why I was panicking, but a secondary reason I was panicking was because even if I found a manufacturer, I was really scared that they wouldn't do a denim jacket correctly or up to really high standards. I feel like it's just because since I've never made clothes before, there's still a lot of mystery behind the manufacturing process, and I feel like to get a jacket to the level of like Free Note Cloth or 316 or anything like that, there has to be like some sort of magic involved that regular manufacturing won't do. Or I also thought maybe there's something I don't know about constructing a denim jacket, and there's something that they don't know, and together we will not know. And I was super nervous that the jackets would get made and they wouldn't be high quality. They would split, they would rip, there'd be just something in general wrong. They wouldn't be up to snuff with any of those other brands. I was planning on getting the jackets and then wearing one of them for like 6 or 7 months, not to make sure it fits correctly, just to make sure it doesn't fall apart and it's the same level of quality.
Alright, it's alright. I just mess with you. And then someone that watches this channel, I won't say your name just in case you don't want me to, but HW messaged me and said, hey, I work for a denim company, I could help you out. And I was like, well, thank you. And he basically gave me a ton of information and kind of telling me the logistics of sourcing denim and finding manufacturers. He was great, but that's not the most important part of the story. Thank you, HW. Notice that the background is the exact same. It looks like I'm walking in a loop. That's because I am. I went back onto Upwork and Christine answered, or Whitney? One more time for a bedtime set. But she answered and basically said, yeah, I make patterns. I can make a pattern for a jacket. How many do you need? And what kind of manufacturing are you looking for? She ended up not answering. Also, I'm about to set up the new, I don't want to call it a toy, because my dad used to always say, it's not a toy, it's a tool. It's like, I have my own pet robot, basically. Let me introduce you to my pet robot. See what I mean? Production value is absolutely skyrocketing.
Or selling drugs.
started to get creepy outside yesterday, so I stopped when I was walking and a car drove by and said, something vlogger boy, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I better go home. Taylor gets catcalled every time she goes outside in Brooklyn. I get catcalled once and I'm like, I will never go out after 8 p.m. again. So I posted a video where I reviewed Naked and Famous. So many people have talked to me already and messaged me on Instagram. Oh, you should follow me on Instagram, subscribe to me on YouTube, comment on this video, like this video, that'd be great. I made a video just for fun about Naked and Famous's milk denim, and I've mentioned him a lot in the past few videos. This is why. Bezad reached out to me after, well, actually, first he didn't. In a live, he was like, hey, this guy did a video, and I was like, no. When Bezad said my name in the live stream, I was like, I feel like I'm getting called out by a celebrity now. I was running around Taylor's apartment screaming. She was like, put your clothes on, Michael. Then I posted a Converse review, and then I posted a video called I'm starting my own clothing line. And this is, Bezad messaged me one day after I had dinner with my friend Brendan. I had a pizza and the waiter thought Brendan and I was dating, and he was really happy about it. He was thrilled every time he came over. After the pizza, I got a DM from Naked and Famous Denim, and it was Bezad basically saying, hey, we're dropping these new New York exclusive jeans. Would you want to review them if I sent them to you a little early? And I said, yes. That sounds good. And then I did nothing else. I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome. I can't believe it. I went to see Taylor in Massachusetts, and then I drove back from Massachusetts to New Jersey in silence for like 4.5 hours. Not for any particular reason. Sometimes I just like to hear the engine of my car, even though I drive a 2014 Camry. So I was driving in silence, thinking about the Iron Snail and videos and how I was gonna find a manufacturer. And then I was like, wait a minute. I could ask Bezad if... So I texted Bezad and said, hey, I have some ideas, can I call you? And he said yes. Oh, and by the way, you should subscribe to Naked and Famous on their YouTube channel, here. Anyway, so Bezad lives in Japan, so I was nervous my voice was gonna crack, but also I had to call him at like 9 at night, and lately, I've been falling asleep in my bed at 9 o'clock. When it was time to call, I didn't feel comfortable in my apartment. I don't know if this happens to anybody else. I hate being on the phone in front of anyone. Like if my mom is like, hey Mike, can you call a restaurant and order us food? I'm like, sure. And I'll leave the house. So I went to my car. If you could just pretend this is my car. And I'm sitting there, I call Bezad, super nervous, my heart's racing. He's one of probably the nicest people that I've ever met. And I was like, okay, so, you know, I'm putting you on this call because I have an idea. And he said to me, well, I don't know how he was holding the phone. He said to me, well, I saw your latest video, so I'm pretty sure I know what you're gonna ask, but go ahead. And I was like, oh my God, my latest video is me telling you that I'm starting a clothing line. So he knew, which actually threw off my pitch because the whole pitch accounted for him not knowing. So I was like, well, I run a small YouTube channel, it's called the Iron Snail. And I gave a very butchered version of my pitch. And when I finished, he said, well, we do a lot of manufacturing for other brands as well. So yeah, we'd be happy to do a project with you. I just need to check on a few things with a few different people, blah, blah, blah. Business partners. But I just wanted to officially say this.